Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome. I'm Beth Caldwell. I am so happy to be here today for my friends at the Speakers Index. And we're going to talk about something really, really important for you as you launch your business. This is my popular workshop called 10 Steps to a Polished Professional Brand. I'm Beth Caldwell, and I am so happy to be here with you. So you have likely heard the word brand. And if you're like me, a busy professional in today's crowded speaking marketplace, you likely do more than speak. You probably have more than one thing to do that you do in order to earn your living. And I noticed that a big part of this word brand is the word and. And here's what I notice with people that I meet and clients that I work with. When they introduce themselves, they usually say something like this. Hi, I'm Beth Caldwell. I'm a professional speaker, and I'm an author, and I've written 10 books, and I've written for a newspaper, and I'm the creator of Leadership Academy, and I've been published in Sort of Success magazine, and I've had a video television show for 4 years on Pittsburgh Biz TV shows. Brand and. Now, let me ask you something. If you ever catch yourself speaking like this, which introduction do you think is more effective? Something like this or something like this? Hi, I'm Beth Caldwell. I'm a success coach for women in business. Ooh, isn't that smooth? Doesn't this look a little bit more attractive than the previous slide? Now, it's really, really important that I convey as a speaker that I've spoken on stage with Steve Harvey, and I've been with Susie Orman, I've opened with her, and I'm a published author, and I have Leadership Academy. That's all really important to my credibility, but it doesn't have to be the first thing that I say, and I don't have to jam it down everybody's throats as soon as I meet them, right? I'm a specialist in client attraction. And what client attraction is using a magnetic form of marketing in order to attract business to you. And it begins with a very simple visibility and statement to introduce yourself. So today I'm going to give you 10 ways to polish your personal and professional brand and to create your client attraction plan to get the most speaking engagement, as many speaking engagements as you want. One of the gifts that I'm going to give you at the end of today, there's nothing for sale today, just so you know. And I will be giving you at the end a gift, a brand you review checklist, which goes over all of the things that I say today. And it's something that I want you to do once or twice a year. Go through all of the things that I say to you today once or twice a year and just be sure that they're polished and professional and updated. Your marketing, your client attraction plan, your branding system doesn't start out perfect. It starts out with whatever you have and you continue to improve it. Okay, so at the end, I'm going to give you a checklist. And what I'd like you to do is print that out for yourself and then put in your calendar 3 months from today, because you're going to get some ideas today. You're not going to get them all done in 1 week, right? So for 3 months from today, review my personal brand. And then 3 months from there, and then 3 months from there. And then next year, you just only have to do that once or twice a year once you get everything going. Okay, and today I'm going to talk to you about things that you can do online, on the internet where people can find you, but also offline as well, because we as speakers can grow our businesses in both ways. Here's a really simple way to brand yourself. What does your email signature look like? This is one of my clients. This is Tracy O'Neill. She is a doctor of naturopathy. So she's a clinical naturopath, and her company is Divine Health Naturally. And she has a couple of different signature lines. Okay, so here's one. For an appointment, please call. She has another signature line. that we alternate these. So what I want you to see about this signature line in her email, one, it has a very attractive photo of her. So Tracy is a clinical naturopathic doctor. So she sees people in her offices, but she also grows her business from speaking. And so having a really nice professional email signature sets her a little bit apart from her competition. And I use, you want to write this down. I use, oh, I just forgot the name of it. Hold on a second. A signature line service. I'm going to tell you what it is in just a second because I have it here. Wise the Stamp. Wise the Stamp is the email signature line service that I use. And I think that you can have 5 different email signatures that you can change every time you send an email. So in my Wise Stamp, I have one that's a business coach. I have one that's creator of Leadership Academy. And I have another one that says international keynote speaker. And every time I send an email, I can choose which signature line that I want. Now, Tracy, my naturopathic doctor, she has her set up a little bit differently. Hers automatically changes. So it's always something different. She has this one, for an appointment, please call. She has another one that says something about to learn how to get a divine night's sleep naturally, click here. And that takes you to one of her blog posts on holistic and healthy ways to get a good night's sleep without taking sleeping pills. She has other ones for hormones and weight loss, and they alternate through her signature line through a system that she uses. And that keeps her email signature line really fresh and interesting to the people that she's sending. This really doesn't cost anything except for your time. Now, if you use a service like a Wise Stamp, I think that costs something like $79 a year. But once a year, they have a 50% off sale, usually on Black Monday. So something like Wise Stamp will cost you money, but just to set up an email signature line and change it, that's something that you can schedule to do yourself once a month or once every 2 months. So number one, check your email signature line. For most of you, your email signature is not hurting you, but it's also not helping you. And these are little tiny things that we can do to help you to get booked as a speaker and get more business. So number two, super easy way to polish your brand. What does your voice message sound like? You know, when I am able to speak in front of my large audiences, I love to ask this question, and I love to have people trade phones and call each other's voicemail. And here's what I generally find with the people that I normally work with. About 50% of them have the computer generated voice. You have reached 555-5555. Please leave a message. And it's just a computer. Not really hurting you, but not helping you. And there's another thing that I hear a lot. Tell me if this sounds like your voicemail message. We'll just pretend. Hi, this is Beth, and I'm really sorry I can't take your call right now. I'm really busy helping my customers and doing a really great job because working hard is really important to me. So I'm sorry I can't talk to you right this minute, but please leave a message and I'll get back to you just as soon as I can. Okay. How many of you have messages like this or have heard messages like this? And maybe you're thinking there isn't anything wrong with that message, but that message is full of minimizers. Really sorry. Sorry. Really sorry. Just can't. Trying hard. Really important to me, right? These are what we call communication minimizers. And chances are, as a speaker, you've heard of these before. And here's something that you really rarely hear from a man. You don't ever really call a man's voicemail and voice machine and him say, hey, I'm really sorry because I'm really working hard. What does he say? This is John, leave a message, right? If he says anything. So let's have your voice message, your voicemail message. Let's have that not be something that doesn't hurt you, but let's have it be something that actually helps you. So let's say, for example, you have a regular 8 to 5 job in a career. By having a computerized message or one that where you're apologizing, where that may not be hurting you, the person who calls you, it doesn't exactly set you apart for the next promotion or to give you something new to do. Let's say that you are a speaker and you're a full-time speaker, and that a television, the news producer for your local television station is interested in having somebody talk about the global pandemic and how it's affecting businesses. And they call you and they get a computer voice. Sometimes you'll call somebody and you'll get the computer voice message and you'll be like, who was I calling, right? But imagine instead, hi, this is Beth Caldwell. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Sounds clear and concise and professional. How does that sound to a television producer or an event planner? So listen to your voice message today and see what you can do to improve it. And remember how just a little while ago I said, check this every couple of months. So you're going to listen to your voice message today and you're going to improve it. But when you listen to it again in 6 months, you're going to be able to do even better. So this is something you want to continually work on. So number 3, let's take a peek at your online presence. Now, normally when I do this workshop live and engaged, we'll do some LinkedIn profile reviews or some Facebook profile reviews. Sometimes we even do Instagram or Pinterest. Right now, we're doing things a little bit differently. So I'd like you to take a look. If you're on social media, if you have a website, take an objective look at how you look to your ideal client. Does your name look really professional? Is your email a professional email, or is it a Gmail or Yahoo? Please, please don't let it be an AOL. There are actually some people today who still have an AOL and still have a Hotmail email address. Let's take a look at that and what does that say about you? What do your online pictures say about you? What do the descriptions of your talk say about you? Here's a really interesting story. 1 year ago, I put up 5 new topics on my website for speaking and offered out virtual speaking and hybrid speaking. And then yesterday, I was sending an email with a description of my talk to somebody new. And I was like, I don't think I really like that description. And I improved it. I changed it and I made it a little bit tighter and a little bit better. So we put things up at the best that we can now, and we continue to improve upon them. So how do you look right now as a speaker? How does your speaker's index profile look? Take a look at all of your online presence and see where you can make some improvements. So that brings me to this next very important topic, and one that many people really don't like to talk about. But listen, a professional photo is so important to you. I have been saying this for years. In fact, I have an ebook that I wrote many years ago called The Professional Women's Guide. The Professional Women's Guide to a Fantastic Photo Shoot. And it works for men too. So I'm going to add that actually as a gift. I'll put that at the end of this. I'll give it to the Speakers Index so that you can have it. You know, I wrote that book many, many years ago, and I've improved on that book by putting even better pictures in. So over the years, I have seen in my business how photographers have improved upon how they do their headshot photos. And I have 3 examples for you here today. Now, these are all 3 very accomplished women. And I want you to imagine that, let's just imagine, since you're speakers today, I usually say, let's imagine they're television producers, but let's today say that a speakers bureau is looking at 3 absolutely equal people. They have the absolute same credentials. They all have the same number of 5-star reviews. They all come highly recommended, all right? Which person would you hire for your event? Or if you were a news producer, which one would you interview? And you can't really help it. The most professional photo really stands out. And I want to tell you, the woman on the left, hairdresser. The woman in the middle, civil rights attorney who has appeared before the Supreme Court. The woman on the right, chiropractor. They're all 3 highly accomplished women. But if I were to tell you that they were all 3 attorneys and they all 3 had appeared in front of the Supreme Court, so if they were completely equal, wouldn't you pick the person with the best photo because you somehow assume that she's going to be more well-spoken and more professional in an interview. So professional photos are really important, and they really help you to get a gig, and they really help you to get media coverage as well as awards. I have some examples here. These are a little bit older, but I pulled them out for a specific reason for you. When you are getting new headshot photos, and by the way, I recommend that you get a new headshot photo every 3 to 5 years. Now, 10, 15 years ago, we all got literally headshot photos. And it is the most flattering pose for some people. Like if you have my body type, you know, from here up is the most flattering pose. But we have photographers out here today professionally that aren't really skilled at taking professional photos that work for marketing, that work for client attraction. So we have to be careful with our photographers, because the woman on my left, I hope it's your left too, the woman with, well, they both sort of have the same color hair, but the woman in the black jacket with the kind of golden brown background, right? So to a photographer, this is a very artistic photograph. Now, if we look at this from a marketing perspective, look, her hair looks great, her makeup looks great, she's wearing professional clothes, they are not dated, everything looks good on this. However, that background, it's really meant to hang over a fireplace, or maybe in a law firm on the paneling, right, in the conference room. So this kind of photo doesn't really do well on a magazine and newspaper or on a website. So if we take a look at the woman next to it, where we have a more clear background, that's a little bit easier to use on a marketing piece, such as a business card or a website or a social media profile. So you want to, when you do get your professional photos, you want to make sure that you have the option. You want to have more than one photo, but you also want to have a nice background. It doesn't always have to be clear. And by the way, now we do have graphic design tools where we can pull people out of a background, but I don't want you to have to do that or have to pay for that if you don't have those skills. So this is something you want to make sure to discuss with your photographer and let them know the reason why you're using your photo. So if you don't want to buy a photo to print out, put in a frame and put on a fireplace, you actually want to use it on a website or on a social media profile or on business cards or flyers, please communicate that to your photographer. Make sure they can do this. Now, this is one of my personal clients that I helped. She is a published author. And well, actually, this is Jenny, and Jenny is a published author is one of the things that she does, but she is a trauma nurse, and she works in a hospital in a large city. She works as a trauma nurse. She works 7 days a week, 12 hours a day as a trauma nurse for about half of the year. And the other half of the year, she goes to Africa and volunteers her time as a nurse missionary, helping people who are very, very sick and helping them to access healthcare. And that's her passion. And so she wrote a book about being a missionary nurse, and she hired me to help her to get speaking engagements and get press and awards and visibility, and basically do a client attraction plan for her so that she could get speaking engagements and sell her book, which she uses as a way to raise funds for her mission trips. Okay. Now, Jenny really doesn't like getting her photo taken. In fact, she wears her hair up in a ponytail, wears no makeup most of the time. And she's always really dressed in scrubs. Pretty much every day of the year, she wears hospital scrubs. And so I gave her my ebook, it's a professional women's guide to a fantastic photo shoot, which she did not read, because if she had read it, she would not have worn the outfit on the first one on the left that you see, because in that I recommend that you wear solid colors because they're just a little easier on the eyes. And so what she did was she was trying to save money. And so for the first photographer that she used, I think this was somebody from, I think this might have been a neighbor of hers who was taking photography classes. That's what that was. That was her first one. And while the photo is okay, it's not a terrible photo, I just knew that she could do a little bit better. So she paid $50 for that photo from a student. Now the photo in the middle is somebody that went to her church and that goes to her church, and some time ago, that person had a business as a professional photographer. Now, if you look at the background of that photo, I'm going to let you guess about what decade that person worked as a professional photographer, right? So I'm going to say maybe the mid 1970s. This person maybe worked as a photographer taking school photos. Okay. So here again, we have a stick pin, really goes with the background, but this wasn't taken, this was only taken about 3 years ago. She's wearing kind of some harsh colors. The lighting is not fantastic in this one. Again, it's not a terrible photo. It's not going to hurt her to put this photo out, but it's also not going to help her. So she paid $50 for the first photo. She paid $75 for the second photo. And then as I began to show her, and I was saying, Jenny, did you read my book? Because she's a beautiful, beautiful person who does a great job speaking on stage. And this photo was just not capturing it. So she went and got a photographer and she paid $275 for this photo on the right. What do you think of it? Was it definitely worth her time? The person who set up this photo shoot on the left, it included hairstyling, makeup, and wardrobe consulting. So as you can see, it's the same jacket that she has on the middle, but what have they done? They've given her some stylish jewelry. And if we had this moved up a little bit, you could see that she has on a black tank underneath of it. So it's really stylish. And I think you can see how easy it is to, you just look at her and you think she's going to do a great job speaking for us. We did get her some media attention. We got her several bookings. And she also got 2 awards, not just for the photo, for also the great work that she does in the world, but the photo really helps, okay? Now, we don't need to do traditional photos anymore. They don't all need to be head and shoulders. These are some of my clients. Gloria, with her dog, is a life coach. Hillary is a voice coach. All of these women speak to grow their businesses. Hillary, if you see, we have this full shot of her. She's a performer. She is a singer. She's an opera singer. She's also sung in a rock band, but she's a voice teacher. And her quote, her MO, which she tells her students when they work with her, is dare to suck. Like, people are always afraid to sing because they're afraid of how they sound and what people will think of them. And she's like, I dare you to suck. I dare you to suck. And so that's part of her message. And that's why we have that sign with her in the background. The next photo is Michelle Boucher. She is a very successful real estate agent. And she doesn't look like a traditional real estate agent in this photo. She also is an award-winning leadership expert. She also trains people on how to start businesses. She's got multiple streams of income. And I think when you look at this photo of Michelle, you can imagine that she's going to do a great job speaking. And the last one on the right is Beth Lynch, who is a financial advisor who people trust with their life savings. And normally you would see a financial advisor in a very stuffy gray suit, looking like she works in a bank. And I like how we've done something that's just a little bit more warm and open. So your photo does not have to be stuffy. You don't have to wear a gray suit. You really want to look, for some of you, it's your first introduction to your client, and you want to look like somebody that they say, yeah, I could have a conversation with that person. I think I could listen to that person. So what I recommend that you do is pick a few photos that you like and show them to your photographer. Let them know what you're looking for. Okay, number 5. I'm going fast because I want to keep this short for you. I want you to have a powerful positioning statement. Now, I teach this workshop to many different people. And so I go into 6 strategies here on the slide. But for you as a speaker, I want you to have a simple answer to what do you do? It should be relevant to your audience. It shouldn't be too complicated. You want it to generate interest in your services, and you want it to have what and who answers, and talk about where you're going. I'm not going to get into a lot of this because I know that you are a professional speaker. So let me give you an example. Somebody says to you, so tell me what you do. We don't want to go back to the beginning of this class and tell them everything that we do, like I showed you so beautifully, right? You want to say, you want to say something like this. You know how you go to conferences and they have a whole lot of speakers and sometimes they're really dull? Yeah. What I do is I give really engaging presentations that people always wind up laughing, crying, and giving a standing ovation. Now they know what you're talking about. Okay. So I'm a speaker. We can do a little bit better than that, right? I'm a speaker. So grandma can understand that. I'm a keynote speaker who offers presentations for up and coming leaders. We wanted to say, tell me more on that. Here's one of the things that I say. You saw a picture earlier of me on stage with Susie Orman. That was because of a book that I had written called Get Paid What You're Worth. And so I teach workshops to women who want to get paid what they're worth. That generates interest. My grandmother understands that. It contains a what and who answer. Now, if we were together, we would practice this back and forth. So I hope that you'll stay connected to me so you can watch for my workshops where we do some interactive things, where we do LinkedIn profiles and we practice introducing ourselves, because I'd like to hear your positioning statement. I'd like to hear how you introduce yourself. But for now, write down a few ways to introduce yourself. Now, let's imagine that you're at one of those speed dating things for speakers, okay? And you're gonna wanna have a powerful positioning statement, a way to introduce yourself that works with everybody in the room. And so the first person that you go to is booking a conference for people who are attorneys. And the second person is booking one for people who are dentists. And the third one is booking one for entrepreneurs. So what you can do is have a positioning statement that you alternate. Okay, so if you work with these audiences, this is when it works, right? And so let's imagine that I'm saying, my talk is make your brand statement. So the first person, hi, I'm Beth Caldwell. So nice to meet you. I'm happy to talk to you about attorneys because one of the things that I specialize in is helping attorneys polish their personal brands and look good online, right? See how you can engage with a specific audience. Well, one of the things that I do is I work with dentists and other medical professionals to polish their personal brand. And I help them with strategies both online and offline so that they can attract their ideal clients, fill their practice to full capacity. Do you see how that really generates interest? Now, obviously, you're not going to say that if you don't work with dentists or lawyers, but that's an example of how you can customize your talk, your introduction to your current audience. Oops. Let's try that again. Number 6. How about your membership profiles? This is something that so many people overlook. They join an organization, maybe a professional membership organization. Maybe it's a chamber of commerce or an alumni association, or even they start a social media profile and it has nothing on it, or the last time it was updated. Maybe they're on that social media platform every day, but they don't ever post anything. So I would recommend that you choose one membership or social media profile, update your bio, add any awards or media coverage that you've had. Make it look good, make it look the way you want it. And if you belong to more than one membership or alumni organization, start with one and you have that basic profile, which you then, I would recommend that you save it. Save it on your desktop or in the cloud. Save it somewhere where you'd find it. So the next time you join an organization, you'll have all of that information that you can very easily copy over. You know, I showed you one of my clients, Beth Lynch, a few slides before I showed you her photo, and she's a financial advisor. And so she belongs to a lot of financial organizations. And that's what we did one session. Not everybody's super savvy technology wise, and she's really good tech wise. Beth, if you're watching this, you know you are, but sometimes that visibility and the tech together can intimidate people. And we just spent about 1 hour logging in, like she had to find her login and her password, whatever, log in, update the photo, copy and paste all of this information, copy and paste your awards. And I would point out to her, how about that time that you were featured in the newspaper? How about that time that you were interviewed on TV? And putting that under her credentials. And it really up-leveled her brand. Okay, this is something you can do on one rainy afternoon, or the next time, every now and then we have something cancel or postpone, and we have a 1 hour or 2 hour gap in our day where we thought we were going to be doing something and we're not, that is a great time to go in and update all of your membership profiles and keep that polished. Okay. Now, how about this? How many of you volunteer for charity or volunteer positions, maybe a board of directors, maybe you serve with your Rotary, maybe you serve on your alumni organization, and they have a website. And on the website, it lists all of their volunteers or their board of directors. And how many times do I see this? This is a lost opportunity for you to make a brand statement. I realize that you probably don't do volunteer work in order to get business. Some people do, but not everybody does that. And you might think it's a little bit cheesy to promote yourself. But no, being polished and professional doesn't equal being pushy. Okay. So if you have a profile for a charitable organization, whether it's a Rotary group or the chamber group or whatever you do to volunteer, and your profile looks like this, I don't think it's good for your professional image. I don't know that it's actually hurting you. It is certainly not helping you. Okay. And remember, you are a speaker. You're a role model, not only for other speakers, but also for other professionals. So I know it feels a little awkward and uncomfortable, but get that to looking good and professional, because it really helps your business. And guess what? It also helps the charity. So, do it for them. Alrighty, now this is one that always makes people feel a little hesitant, but I have to tell you, receiving awards and recognition will really set you apart from your competition and set you above your colleagues. When somebody is trying to make a decision on hiring somebody, whether it's as a coach, a consultant, or a speaker, a lot of times they're looking at 3 people, and a lot of times those people charge the same and have the exact same amount of experience. And one thing that you can do to set yourself apart from the competition is be recognized with some awards and recognition, or maybe have some media attention, as seen on CNN, as seen in USA Today. So awards and recognition, how can you be recognized? Now, if this makes you feel uncomfortable, what I recommend that you do is get together with a colleague or with a group of colleagues, and you look for award opportunities for one another and nominate one another for them. And you don't have to have a lot of awards. You don't have to have a lot of media attention. I recommend that you have 3 awards over the span of a career, over the span of 10 years, not 3 awards in a year. So look for something distinctive. Look for a way that you can be recognized. It doesn't necessarily have to be in your field. So let me think of one. Let me think of one, for example. So I have a couple of a lot of different clients that I work with. I have one who has a therapy business. She's a mental health therapist, but she's also a veteran. She served in the Army. So she has an award from the service and from the military. She has an award of a working mom award. I have other people who have awards. Maybe they work in the field. I have a client who works in the field of accounting. She doesn't have an award as the best accounting. She does have some recognition and some distinguished accomplishments that she's made in her field of accounting. But over here, she has an award, a community involvement award. Okay. Doesn't have to necessarily be exactly what you do in order to get you some visibility. I mentioned before the Rotary and the chambers of commerce. There are also alumni organizations where, just by the fact that you're involved in those organizations, people will hire you because they have an affinity for that particular alumni group or that particular charitable group. They happen to be interested in that. I remember one time many years ago, I gave a donation to a military project. And I got hired from that because my name was listed in the donation. And somebody was looking for a business coach. And they knew me as a business coach, but when they saw that I had given money to a veterans organization, they were like, you know what, I'm gonna hire her. So looking for ways to be seen as visible will just enhance your name. It's another way for people to find you, and it's good for your reputation. Okay, so you are speakers. This can get controversial sometimes when you're talking to speakers about speaking, but one of the best ways that you can be visible is looking for opportunities to speak. Until your business is booked to full capacity with a waiting list, and you are telling people, yes, I'd love to speak for you, but unfortunately, I'm not available for 3 years. Okay, until you get to that level, I want you to be seeking opportunities to write and speak as much as possible. Writing gives you credibility, speaking gives you credibility. So let me see if I can think here. On the left is the photo of me at the Steve Harvey Success Institute, and that was in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to say that was about 4 years ago. This one in the middle is a women's leadership event. And on the right is a women's conference at the Omni Resorts at Bedford Springs. Okay. Some of these, in fact, all of these events were paid events. I was paid to be a speaker, but before I did this, there were a number of opportunities where I spoke where I did not get paid, but I did it for the visibility. I've been heavily criticized for that, but I noticed that I'm always criticized by people who aren't making any money speaking. So I don't take that too hard anymore. I used to take that hard. I don't take it anymore. Look for as many opportunities as you can to be published and to be a guest speaker or seen with other guest speakers until you are well known in your field, okay? And my number 10 tip for you is to have an impeccable reputation. And look, integrity is really important. But having a great reputation and having great integrity, it doesn't mean that you've never made a mistake. It shows how you handle your mistakes, all right? And so have an impeccable reputation is one of the best, easiest, and free things that you can do to have a very polished personal and professional brand. Okay, remember that. And really, really important to believe in your brand. You know, who doesn't love Oprah Winfrey? I'm having some tech issues today. By the way, have you noticed I'm not apologizing for these tech issues? I have a new mouse, and when I put my hand near it, sometimes it's super sensitive. Maybe my batteries are too strong, but you never apologize for tech issues because you come across looking a little bit scattered, and you just kind of roll with it. I'm just so glad that these tech issues have happened because it's allowed me to model tech issues for you. All right, let's talk about believing in your brand. Now, who isn't a big fan of Oprah Winfrey? But the Oprah Winfrey in the first 3 photos, I didn't see a lot of her. I was really aware of Oprah Winfrey, but I was working and had 4 children and just sort of being a family person during the big Oprah years, and I never watched her show. But she has made a tremendous contribution to the world, not just the United States, but to the world. And she's taught people so many things. And I wonder about Oprah when we see these photos of her in the early days. I'm sure she would so appreciate me sharing this with you. But here's something that Oprah did not do. She didn't say, well, I'll do a TV show once I get the hair that I like, or I'll do a TV show once I get a wardrobe or a body or experience or a published book or been in a movie. She did it. She believed in herself and believed in her brand 100,000% and kept on getting better and better and better. She didn't wait until everything was as it is now. Aren't we glad that she didn't? And one of my favorite quotes is Oprah says, I know for sure that what we dwell on is who we become. And I want you to dwell on excellence in your brand and in your craft. That's exactly where you're going. I have 2 gifts for you. So first of all, actually I have 3 gifts for you. I'm going to make sure that you get a copy of my ebook of the Professional Women's Guide to a Fantastic Photo Shoot. And that guide works for men as well. I'm also going to give you a digital copy because I'm not with you in person, unfortunately, but I'm going to give you a digital copy of this Polish Your Brand checklist. This is actually in my newest book. This is my newest book. It's called Women Lead, and it's in the back. There's a resource. There's a resource section in the back, and you can get it here, but I'm going to give you the digital one. And what I would love for you to do is put this onto your calendar, just download it digitally and upload it to your calendar for 2 months from today or 3 months from today. Print it out and just go over these 10 things that we've talked about. I don't expect you to do them all today or all this month. Pick 1 or 2 to improve on now, and then put it on your calendar. That is the best way that we can keep on top of this. Is one of the many things that we need to do to keep our business flowing smoothly. So every couple of months, have this pop up on your calendar and review it. You don't have to take a day off of work or go away for a half a day to update your brand, or a weekend. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You just want to keep it front and center and keep it on your mind. And my last gift for you is, if you are interested in working with me as a coach through as a referral from the Speakers Bureau, I will give you $500 off of either my one-on-one personal shift coaching program or my group program. That does not apply to any of my digital online classes or workshops. It's just for working with me one-on-one or in a small group. And all you have to do is go to my website or connect with me in some way and let me know that you learned about me through this speakers series. I would love to stay connected with you. If you found this energizing and exciting, I have a newsletter that comes out every Friday. It's called the Friday Focus, and you can sign up for it on my newsletter, on my website, coachbethcaldwell.com. And you can sign up for my newsletter under the Connect page. Also, if you go to the Beth Told Me, hashtag Beth Told Me, you will see all of my blog posts, and there are many, many of them that are recorded workshops just like this one, that are completely free and open to the public, and they're for your success and engagement. And they're tools for you to use to be successful in your business. And I just want to remind you that if you don't step forward, you will always be in the same place. So I want to encourage you to take a step today, work on that brand, and please keep in touch with me and let me know what you've done and how you've polished your brand. Best of luck to you. Bye-bye.